ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mwebe. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284 *173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
Yes, viewer, it is a very bright morning and we're coming live from Host Hub Innovation Village. You're watching Host TV and this is the Mother's edition of the Morning Explorer program happening live here on this very day. That is, of course, the new month that started with the weekend. A lot of things happening in, of course, Uganda. You could be getting us all the way from East Africa, from Europe. Wherever you are on this globe, you're getting us live on Host TV. Yes, I'm not alone in the Morning Explorer always. Two great human beings. Desire. You're putting on black.
Very good morning, our dear viewers. It's a beautiful morning right here with us in the studio. It is. The sun is not out, but we are glowing, I think, Aldo. Yeah, it's been a very long weekend. For those, if you're within West Nile, you should be able to know there's been rains all over. I had the time to travel in around West Nile. I was in Yumbe. I traveled to Teregu. Also traveled Marata, Koboko, all within the spectrum of just a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So you know how heavy the weekend is. I don't know, Desire. Have you ever felt in a way that someone looks at you as like, but is this really you? Aldo, what did you go through in the weekend? But I think it was a fantastic weekend. We started off on Friday with the corporate comedy show, and I think Salvador gave Arua something. Actually, we got a lot of pictures coming in from that very show here. Our own theme, that is a Host TV, was in coverage, and Khalid Caesar Juma, our top photographer, did actually take top-notch photos of those circulating on media, and very many things happening right there. And together with Peter De Rock, and of course the production team that also made sure that production, the pictures are coming the way they are. But just from the story I told you, Desire, as I was traveling, you know the roads are very bad when it rains in West Nile and some parts of Uganda. I got myself seated in the car, and the discussion was, hey, there's this TV that is all over. And the person didn't know that actually I was the Aldo guy, and this driver was seriously talking a lot of things. Not until I realized actually they were talking about me. I felt very shy. Aldo, I did not take you for the shy kind. I don't know whether this happens to you. There were those times, I think, the years back when I used to be on radio, people would hear the voice and would not see the face, but now the TV has made everyone to be able to see this face, see what is happening on. So there's a lot of things happening in and out of our caucuses, maybe wherever you keep on interacting here. And I don't know whether that life has been going into you. You do a lot of coffee, I don't know, over the weekend. You also did take your coffee. Well, Aldo, the thing is, for me personally, my encounter has been that the person I am, you know, should I say, behind the limelight, sometimes seems to be a little bit different from the person you meet. Like you, I was a kid on the radio, and, you know, people would talk about, these kids, and then when you show up and you're like, that is me, like, nah, it's not you. So for me, it's been the opposite. Let us relate on this. But away from that stories of how our personalities get to be mixed up in the community, there's one thing you should always be catching every other morning. Remember, this program comes your way from 6 to 9 a.m. And today, there's something big happening. And of course, everyone is agitating. There are a lot of stories that are happening in here. People are saying there will be re-election. A lot of rumors going on. It has been nullified. But it's a fresh Monday. A lot of stories happened over the weekend. We also did say that there was a burial. We did lose the mother to the incumbent, and of course the recently winner of the NRM primaries in Arua, that is Atima Lee Booty Jackson. The mother was buried over the weekend, and of course there have also been a lot of stories. I think today, Desire, just concur with me, we need to contact a lawyer in the second hour of this very show here to get a legal mind on what could be the issues surrounding around the NRM petitions right here. Remember, there are over 126 petitions being of course, the NRM Secretariat headquarters in Kampala, and most of these were coming in from the MP elections. And as of Friday, 15 of them had already withdrawn before the hearings and even the final ruling. So today, I don't know if you would agree with me, we need to get a lawyer on this discussion in the second hour of this very show here. Yes, Desire.
Well, here on the Morning Explorer, we're all about transparency and educating you. So we want people to understand actually the legal implications of what we're talking about. We're talking petitions, we're talking, re-election and all that. But what does that actually mean? People have to understand that. And so make sure you're hooked with us because we want to ask the questions for you. And also you can ask the questions for yourself. So stay with us live on Facebook. Keep those questions coming. Prepare them. Make sure that ask it the way it is because we're all about transparency. We want to kill ignorance in Uganda. That is the goal.
Yes, there's one thing. I don't know if you have a lawyer friend, but I think I have a lot of legal friends. Me, I'm someone, a corporate gentleman sometimes. I think I should be able to contact other man company advocates to see if we could have one legal person coming in from there and have the discussion set from 8 to 9 would be sharing on what does it mean to be in a petition and what are the outcomes of. I'm also told that some of the lawyers who are representing the likes of, remember, Tio did petition in, Tio was petitioned in by to hear from him, a lawyer that is sitting on that responding to that. And we did have Atimali Jackson being petitioned by Debo Ronald, that is from Arua Central. And we did have Osoro Maureen being petitioned by Dafin Dramaza and Sela Obia. So all these petitions are coming through. I think later on when we'll be going for our breakfast, we should be able to contact, that is Older Man Company advocates, if they can be able to come in studio. But I'm quite hopeful. These are legal friends that are friends to Host TV. They'll be able to come in the second hour. Yes, these are, I don't know what your expectations are, but I just tapped something about breakfast. Let me cross over to you in the kitchen and see, because women, for us, we see what is on the table.
Aldo, a man should fast at least once a week, don't you think?
It's a mindset issue. I will not agree with you.
Well, it is a beautiful Monday, as we mentioned earlier, a brand new day. This is your moment to give yourself a treat. Yeah. The breakfast you go for should not be influenced by the activities you did over the weekend. So we are looking at something protein-packed, something to give us the energy, to get us going. Today is Monday, so we're going to need that coffee if you can grab one. Some protein you can get from your eggs. Either you can have it fried or boiled. You can couple that with some cassava. Yeah. But this is Uganda. You can do Rolex. It's okay.
Cassava for us. It's okay. There are some people, Rolex is our own thing, and it's just like pizza being in Italy. Yeah. And Desire, I don't know. I am just trying to see if my producer can be able to take us through today in history. I'm just seeing the screens right over there. What happened on this very day? And if you are catching us live this morning, remember, just from my production room, they're trying to signal to us that we need to tell the people that what happened on this, the Desire. You don't actually know in history, today in history, there's something very big. I need you to understand, or even the viewer to understand this very clear. But remember, wherever you're catching us, there are those who are catching us on that is Afro Mobile app. There are those who are also catching us on the Yo TV app, and those who are also catching us on our dedicated Host Media app. Remember, you can also download Host Media on that is the Google Play Store right over there. But of course, today in history is a very fascinating day for us. I don't know whether you got tired of the stories that. Let me first pose it to you. Have you ever liked that idea to say that who discovered the source of, who discovered River Nile? Those things like who discovered, how do you say? Who discovered, there's another famous discovery, Lake Victoria. These two things have been confusing us in our primary educations long here. But of course, it's also something that is happening today in history. Do you even mind me to tell you what happened on this day today in history?
First of all, Aldo.
Yeah.
I am a Ugandan, okay? I do not believe anyone discovered anything.
But in our today in history, there is something coming in from the Antarctica. If you know of Antarctica, the continent that humans cannot live on because of its icy natures, because of a lot of things that are happening in that very. That is the first printing of the Zohar in Spain, popularized the Jewish study of the Kaaba, and of course there was also the Russian Antarctic expedition that was led by Fabian Volbel. That name is quite very big because Russians, you know them very well. And the return to that is called Dastin. That was when they did a traverse through Atlantic. It was very hard to traverse through that very region But they were able to move through and discover that, yes, there's a planet that exists like that. There are penguins that live in it. The human beings, it's very hard for them to live in that. So you know that history very well. So Antarctica, the map geography, if you're able to know the world.
Aldo, are you sure there are no Ugandans in Antarctica?
Ugandans are not fools, by the way. They are sometimes they are also very wise.
Ugandans, we are here to conquer. Ugandans have been found in the most unexpected places. The most unexpected.
You know, there's one thing about Antarctica that we should be able to know, that if it's one of the vast continents where no human beings live in there. And Russia, if you know the history of Russia is one of the coldest places in the world, and those who also stay in Russia, you should be able to know that there are some places in that strip that separates Russia and Europe. You remember? Let's also talk about the biggest Russia those years back. Remember, there was the big Russia that comprised of the states that are right now, like Ukraine. The whole of Eastern Europe was actually part of Russia. That was here back before the fall of Russia to it. But of course, also today in history, that is in the year 1914. If I ever mentioned to you these 2 years, 1914 and 1940s, 1940 to 44 there, you should be able to know the history of the world that rotates around the First World War and the Second World War. But of course, in 1914, the president over that is U.S., Woodrow Wilson, was that very gentleman that was doing the isolation policy, trying to say that U.S. must be neutral in this war. And remember, I don't know what you think about the World War I history, Desire. Women also remember a lot, the World War I history. Just in a nutshell, what would be your spectrum of the World War I history if we were to look at the connotative that history repeats itself?
Well, Aldo,
yeah.
When we talk about war,
yeah,
it's funny how, personally, I've never been through war, but the trauma of war has a way of living on.
It's not easy.
That the fact that this is one part of history that was not just history when we studied it in class. Even as a kid, you could feel the emotions, the fear, the trauma. So when someone says war, even though you've never gone through it.
The most funniest thing about the First World War was that people thought they would fight this war to end war. You remember, if you do A-level history, or if you do some bit of history, Austro-Hungary and Serbia issues, whereby these two nations had a lot of interest in for Britain and Germany. So when Serbia, a Serbian man decided to sue the Prince Duke of Austria, that was like, Britain was like, okay, you've touched my right hand, so I need to get into war. It's just like maybe if West Nile, someone decided to do something to West Nile, and Uganda is like, okay, I need to prevent this. So they thought they were coming to end the war, but at the end of it all, we did now see Germany entering into this war, Britain entering into this war, Russia, which supported Serbia, also came into this war. And later on, by the earlier starts of that war in 1914, the British president, the US president by then, Wilson Woodrow, decided to say that we needed to put US very neutral in this war. But later on, US was also involved in this war because the superpower war was still going on. Russia and US wanted to be the superpowers by then. Germany and Britain were the superpowers because of the colonial powers that they were doing in one way or the other. But of course, one thing we should also remember, Woodrow Wilson, the president over the US, is for what we currently known as the federal laws. If you know of the federal laws, and the Federal Reserves that governs the currencies in the world, you should be able to understand very well that why the dollar is very strong, and why in some instances when the dollar goes high, we have a lot of issues in there. It goes back to what we call the Federal Reserves. Did you actually know that our currencies are backed on dollar?
There's a small joke in the women world that would say if women were in power, if the world was ruled by women, there would be no war, because if we have issues with people, you just don't talk to each other ever again. But no country would be communicating, we just be petty and quiet.
There were also wars that were fused by women in certain parts of the world, because people needed to prevent that. If you don't do this to the middle class, you remember the early history of the European history, whereby Marie Antoinette ignited the whole masses, and that was one of the biggest revolutions that happened. But I'm not saying that women are always peacemakers, but we're also just trying to bring a spark to this. I know it could be from the perspective of desire, being desired in the women perspective, but I'm also a feminist who looks at very part over the story in a very, very funny way. But of course, let's come back to Africa today in history. In 1993, something very funny happened to a very small nation, that is Rwanda. The Tutsi and Hutu went into war, and on this very day in 1993, that was in Tanzania, where these two tribes had to come into sign, and there were a lot of issues that happened that shaped Rwanda's history from the year 1993, when two tribes, the minority and majority tribes in Rwanda, decided to go into arms and fight each other. That was one of the most cruelest wars actually that happened. Tribal bases on tribal origin. It happened on this very day. I don't know whether you remember about the Rwandan and just the Rwandan genocide desire. It happened on this, yeah.
I think this genocide did not just affect the history of Rwanda. A whole race was almost wiped out. A whole race, like, you know how a tribe can be left in numbers that can be counted head on. So I think it did shape the history, not just of Rwanda, of East Africa and Africa in general. And I think a lot of African, a lot of Africa was involved in that. If you look at Rwanda now, Rwanda is part of the East African community.
Actually, I was talking about Rwanda. Rwanda has developed very tremendously under the.
It's a beautiful country.
I remember spending some few hours at that is in the Kigali airport, just trying to see the night view when you're sloping down from the skies, trying to land in Kigali, having been on a 7-hour flight. So it showed me that actually within the few hours, within the few years, there's been a lot done in Rwanda that is to bring out the issues of development, and try to even see now that instead of mourning, the graves have decided to be remarkably issues whereby people can be able to mourn and at the same time remember them. But the hope for this very day is that there was that treaty that was signed in Arusha. Remember, Arusha is actually the headquarters of the East African community, and everything that's signed in Arusha speculates that East Africa is concerned about that very issue here. Today, we did see, by the way, there have also been the issues of the Congo DR issues about Rwanda DR. Remember, after this very Rwandan genocide, there were a big chunk of the Tutsi, the defeated tribes, that decided to cross onto Congo and settled there as rebels, and that was why all these years Rwanda has been accusing Congo of all this. But of course, we continue to see peace reign in all these issues right over there. That's a very big story that we should be able to look at today in history right over there. But actually, if you're celebrating your birthday today in history, did you actually know that President Barack Obama was born on this day? It is Obama's birthday. If you're celebrating your birthday on the 4th of August, that very year 2024, Obama is making 64 years today.
Wow.
Desire. Are you celebrating birthday today?
Every day in this studio, you make me wish it was my birthday. Every day. I wish I was born every day, because what do you mean I could have been born on the same day as Obama?
I want these cameras to come closer to me, because the statements I'm about to say will make either the viewer to understand what I'm meaning or not to understand. Desire. First, look at me properly on that camera. Look at properly. You know, when I was in primary 5, people used to call me Young Obama. I don't know why, but when I asked why, they told me my ears look like that one of Obama. I don't know whether the viewer is seeing these ears, and very funny to it is that actually, when I was in senior 1, a very young man, I used to sit in front of the first desk, and I was the class prefect, the youngest class prefect. So they made joke of me that my ears would block sound waves. And what made me happy was they would call me Young Obama. So today, Obama, as you celebrate Obama's birthday today, if your birthday is today, you're also a very special person to me, because I also look myself like Young Obama, and I hope one day, one time, these aspirations will live very, very funny. So there have been a lot of issues happening in India. So I don't know. Before we go into the press briefing, what is in the papers today? There seems to be a lot of issues around peace. We talked about the Rwandan genocide. We talked about the World War. So what message of peace would you wish to say to the viewer as we go for our song of the day today, Desire, in terms of peace?
Peace, Aldo, to me, peace is a collective effect. Peace takes the government.
Yeah.
It takes, and in Uganda, they always used to tell us in school. I remember our teachers tell us, stop saying the government, you are the government.
Yeah, true.
Peace takes all our collective effort. And as Uganda, we're actually going into this season where peace is a very, very vital thing that we have to discuss.
Yeah.
We saw in the primary, in the election, in the past campaign seasons that we have seen a few people die. We have seen a lot of chaos. And, this comes down to the people. Yeah. Yes, we are about to make the biggest choice of our life as a country for this particular stage of life. But peace comes to you. Is it worth it?
Yeah, true.
Is this choice worth my brother's life? Is it worth a sister's life? Yeah. So as Ugandans, let's be on the guard that whatever choice we make today, let it not be violence. Every day, wake up and choose peace. The way you talk and kindness. Let's be kind to one another. It's a very sensitive period for us Ugandans.
Yes, talking about peace in that, I will not say much about it because last week there was a headliner that there was a clashes between Uganda, South Sudan border, and then sometimes also we talk about peace in terms of war, but of course there's that peace on the compound we have right there. We're going to get to our song of the day. This song talks about peace. It is to those, it synchronizes to both those in Uganda, in South Sudan, in DR Congo, and this is coming from someone who has seen war the way he has seen it. And of course, the Season of Peace is a song that is coming in from Mr. Lengs all the way from Juba. If you're watching us from Juba, or you could be watching us from US, all those Sudanese children who have also been in Canada, in areas like Europe, in areas like America, wherever you are getting us from. You could also be within Arua. You could be getting us from the settlement areas over Uganda, Chankwali, all the way from Bidi. Or you could be even in your room watching this. We want to dedicate this Monday to the Monday that we should be able to promulgate peace, and through this song of the day, that is a Season of Peace. Let's get it to my production room. If they can be able to put for us that song, then we'll come back here to do the press briefing. You're talked into, that is a Host TV. And remember, this is the Morning Explorer with Aldo and Desire, happening your way from Mondays to Fridays. Being the Mondays edition, let's get our song of the day, Season of Peace.
Now and forever.
So, Wizard Government.
Another WJ was the king of Lokulili was another WJ was Jehu tell them say you wanna kill it to money. Kali house get simu bara Imaral quiz, Imaral matal ya kwana Finusu wantani Mabirutu ahataraji Itarajilde, itayo bidirisuwo, itayo bitiluwo, ahataki. Azumo bidirisuwa, klata kumta besafi. Laki mabdaya leita ashandugu mara sakit sabi. Amsugu uonze gilas, yanu umwan ya usianu mbed, matadugu mara sabi. Maramulu batalaita matadugu Mosita salam Salakan lisanto kamul bel matadugu It's a season of peace Sabikan maramulu batalaita matadugu Mosita salam Salakan lisanto kamul bel matadugu It's a season of peace I do ya sabit nar benar Dar kulu mabili mumabat Kainta shilu moya shoya kumufo Hasan kalam bibari du fibet Anu itayau Sidi bed Itayau musulu ya fi iya hajakulu Ata shilu kalam tegel figelba Marakana mulu batan le ita Shilu uwa, kutu uwa tenyo Derisi uwa, kaglak tabe Itabi shilu kalam de tegel sabi Aribari bukura mi fert like bed Marang karajil batal Keleta hawilu derisu rajil taki Rajil kan mara batal Keleta hawilu warile uwa sika kwezi Ya ubed Bazede ya jama Palis uwa moifi betaman Arajila mulu batale itamami Eta gulo Palis sabi Matar sokunu Kelwata kisede kulu mabisaidu itayo Sabi kan mara mulu batale ita Matadugu Mosita salam Salakan lisanto kamul bel Matadugu Sabi kan maramulu matalaita matadugu Mosita salam salakan le santo kamul bel matadugu It's the season of peace. I really wanna tell you tonight, my sister. Oh, I'm so kubete, baja sahile, ikusahile kani tumihibu bade. Amukin itu iya zaman sotu bikun fokulu setawara. Makamantani, kilisutu kunzita, Suzuki, kele makun bitwaro. Itu fibit iya zaman sotu bikore, hangang. Wanna say for the best hangang. Marabi wanus bejai hangang. Raji bikelem bejai hangang. You wanna beat this same as cookie down. Kill mama bisa double just Sabi double just say Mopti I Sabi kan maramulu matalaita matadugu Mosita salam salakan lisanto kamul bel matadugu It's the season of peace. Sabi kan maramulu matalaita matadugu Mosita salam salakan lisanto kamul bel matadugu It's the season of peace. Sibutaku masati kilitakumbe muhabba Mosita salam mararbi yesu makala ubigirize susuja albi lama dak ya jamai Mosita salam rajil akwes bijebu salam ibet ya bwana ai sabenye gali yau le intum.
Welcome back from that short break. This is still the Morning Explorer with me, Desire and Aldo in the studio. We're coming live to you right on Host TV. And before we went for our break, Aldo, we were talking about a lot of things. We discussed war, we discussed peace, and we discussed Aldo's beautiful weekend experience. So today right now we want to discuss what is going around the country. That is our press brief, and we are bringing to you headlines and stories that you should look into. You can get these stories, of course, on the Daily Monitor. You can catch them on the New Vision, whichever copy is easier for you to grab this morning. Aldo.
Yes.
Now, as we had a beautiful weekend, we had the incredible Salvador, the man from Mbokolo here. And we've had, of course, a lot of beautiful experiences over the weekend. Unfortunately, around the country, we have actually had, horrible stories that have been moving on across Uganda on our headlines today. So, it's a little bit on a sad note. First of all, we can start with, in the Daily Monitor, when you look here, we actually have that a man has allegedly poisoned 3 of his children.
Wow.
On the Daily Monitor, 3 of his children, he's alleged to have poisoned them, and these siblings have actually passed. This is something that has happened over the weekend, and when you continue to look at our headlines, it's actually something very saddening. So I don't know if the New Vision is the same, but of course, on another note, we have also lost the Mother of Parliament, that is Nakalema. So I want to hear from you. What is the New Vision saying? This is really a saddening story.
This story of the death of Rhoda Kalema is also what the New Vision has reported in here. On page 43, Kalema has been one of the oldest persons in the parliament of Uganda, and her death is at the age of 96 years old. That's quite a very extensive year that she was able to live for all these years. And of course, dying at that very old age tells us how Rhoda Kalema has been. And of course, if you go and buy the papers, you'll be on page 43 of the New Vision. I don't know what page Daily Monitor puts that one to, but you will find that that story is right over there. But of course, on the Daily Monitor, the biggest, on the New Vision, the biggest story is actually that boy dies at church, priest goes missing. That is a big story that is in there. But of course, you can see from the screen, the Rhoda Kalema story is also right there. But the first big story that the New Vision has is a big one that is in page 3, where a boy dies at church, priest goes missing. I don't know whether that story also did feature there.
You can also see this story featuring on the Daily Monitor, although it's actually an incident that involved money. And this boy was allegedly assaulted and murdered, and this priest is a suspect because I think the boy owed him money. But you can read more of this on Daily Monitor or the New Vision to get more on this story.
Yeah, it's very fascinating to see a man of God in this very story in here. But of course, every man has that wicked part of each other person. It could be the holiest person in the world, you think would commit crime. So we also hope to see that police can bring justice to that very boy who has been confirmed missing. And as this goes, that's a very big story that, of course, police launches hard for that Catholic cleric. And you will read more on that is a New Vision paper that happens right here. On the New Vision also, there's a very big story here about health. That's what Ugandans want. You remember, this is a trucking story that last week we did see how the case is the health story of the diabetes being going high in terms of there's some foods, Matoke and Kalo. You remember that story last week? I think Daily Monitor is now trying to do New Vision is doing a backup on that story, which is from extensively page 4, 6, and also it goes up to page 8, by the way. A big story there in terms of health. And yes, let's also see if this could be something that the Daily Monitor has it right over their desire.
Aldo, as I told you, most of the headlines that I have here actually saddening. Again, in Kamuli district, we have seen a man kills his wife in suspected HIV status dispute. He has suspected his wife to have HIV and who has probably infected him and has resorted to actually murdering the woman just this weekend in Kamuli district. Follow up on this story on the Daily Monitor. It is right there on the headlines. You can get more on this on the Daily Monitor. I don't know if that is also on the New Vision, but Daily Monitor seems to have really captured a lot of saddening incidences that has happened over the weekend across Uganda. We have seen this. We have also had an accident that has killed school pupils that were actually on a school retreat, Aldo.
Yes, and of course, when you talk about that story about HIV, I remember just last week, towards the end of the week, there was a story that did run on, of course, a New Vision, whereby it was reported that the youths are actually signing down HIV prevention activities and testing. That is something very key. We should be able to go and test. By the way, it is a very bold step for you to always go and know your status. Remember, even if you're watching us, you should be able to know your status. It doesn't mean that you go in daily, maybe weekly, or oftenly to go do your HIV test. Doesn't mean that you're doubting yourself. Just a healthy measure that you should be able to take on there. And that very sad story where the pupils die on a way to a school retreat is a very funny one. Not funny, but of course a sad one in here. If you know that many times safety is very key, by the way. When we're transporting these young ones, there's a way. I always pity the ball games are going on right now all over Uganda, and of course that is the primary ball games, and we did see a lot of these children moving on up and down. Others have been ferried, not even in cars that are roofed. Others are ferried on trucks that exposes a lot of their body, and they're shouting. And yesterday, as I was moving around Yumbe, traveling from Yumbe to Arua, I did see the pupils of Odravu West Primary being loaded in a truck with their teachers, everyone singing with the trophy. So that is also one way that we need to take safety very key in terms of if you're traveling with the minors, the children themselves, we need to take a lot of precautions in there. And many schools have gone into buying buses, and others have gone into hiring buses. I think it would be very decent to also see that happen. That story touches me a lot when you talk about safety of children right there.
Aldo, I think actually as a nation and as society, we have actually reached a point where we have neglected the safety of children. When we were growing up, there was a lot of places you could not go without your parents. There was a lot of measures taken when you left, who you left with, when are you coming back, who are your friends, what activities are you engaged in, who is your teacher. Parents used to pay attention to those things. And you'll see that those days actually, the children were a little bit more protected. But now, we find that actually, not just accidents, but you find your child goes for sports, and there's the sports teacher and other teachers who actually just went to watch the match. No one is paying attention to your child, who talked to your child, what interaction do they have, who touched your child. Those things, we don't pay attention to it anymore. And you find our children have been victimized of a lot of things. And the funny thing is, as children, most of them don't even understand that this should not be done to me, and so they keep quiet. So that issue of safety, as you mentioned, is really key, that we really have to bring back on board.
I think we also need to get a lot of your comments on these very issues. If you're watching us live now on Facebook or on YouTube, we're also going live. And those who are watching us on Afro Mobile, those who are watching us on Your TV, wherever you're getting us, also on the Host Media app. Remember, there's a number that is running on your screen right over there. That is a 070-3321-169. That is where you can be able to drop for us a comment right there, and we get to catch up with you and engage the discussion one-on-one with you, and as the viewer keeps seeing it there. There's a very big story that the New Vision paper has reported in here. Did you know that actually the Masindi Diocese of Church of Uganda has got a new bishop? If you want to read more of that story, you'll be able to see right over there that the Masindi gets a bishop, and if you see on the front papers over that is the New Vision, you would see that is Archbishop Stephen Kazimbwe, right after consecrating Right Reverend Joshua Kugonzo, who is the third bishop of that is the Masindi Chitara Diocese and St. Matthias Cathedral in Masindi yesterday. That was Sunday. So Masindi has already gotten a new bishop already. Masindi is a very funny district, by the way. Religiously stubborn, I must be able to say. We have a god in Masindi as well. I don't know whether you heard about the other god who ate even a Rolex.
And he lost his phone when he came to Arua. Anyways, this is for us in Kampala, the business people, and this is for us, as if you're traveling right now to Kampala, you need to know this. There's a rampage of thugs in the city targeting factories and Momo agents. Although this comes in as last week there was actually a mobile money agent who was shot and murdered right in Kampala, and this rampage is going on. They're targeting mobile money agents, they're targeting factories right in the city of Kampala, and this has really caused an issue of safety and security for the people of Kampala, especially, Kampala, Aldo, when I was in Kampala, I've actually now come to understand why in Kampala, when it reaches certain hours of the night, unlike Arua, you can actually not get certain services, especially financial services like mobile money. So
and you see, there's one thing also, just like the other week, 2 weeks back, I was also in Kampala trying to follow up some embassies here and there, some documents with the embassies. And there is some way, by the way, it sounds very funny, but it's very sad. There was a white man, a European by citizenship that I could be able to estimate. He was moving on and then had carried a bag. I think these thieves had tracked him that he was from buying furniture, maybe for his organization, something like that. And quickly someone just came and grabbed away the bag, as everyone was seeing. There's something funny, by the way, Desire. Cultures will, learning certain cultures will save you. For us here, when a thief snatches something from you, we all like saying, ooh, that is how we make it. But for the white man now, he didn't know about your relation. He was saying, hey, hey, hey. So people thought he was actually communicating Aldo, with a thief.
Something we have to note about Kampala is that maybe over the years it has changed, but Kampala has always been that place that people can get so busy. In Arua, these robberies and thug life is a little bit different. In Arua, let me tell you something. Even if I don't ululate, a person sees another person touching my bag, they will take the liberty of doing that. That happened to me once in the market when someone was trying to open my bag and the woman was like, hey, go away. But in Kampala, sometimes it's really different. I have seen videos where someone is being beaten and kicked. They grab your bags and people just go to this, oh my God, like pitying the person. So I think Kampala has to rise, learn from Arua. There has to be that collective action that we are on the lookout for one another.
But also there are some sports in Arua whereby these guys will pick their territories where they pick these things and
when they are home, you have
go
no
away
defense.
with you. But of course there have been incredible people who have also been transforming those streets to make them to be very safe. And I must be able to say happily that those years back, San Siro used to be a very bad place, but now if you walk on San Siro, there's a lot of transformation going on. And there's a movement called the Ghetto Youth Movement. I must be able to thank very well people like Serome, people like Manu, and people like Kibe, who are also trying to see how Jajamin is becoming a very organized. I think also this week, we need to get some of these gentlemen in studio here, how they have been able to transform societies, places whereby the police has tagged San Siro to be a very bad place. But trust me now, if you walk around San Siro, you would be able to see it's a very organized place. There are less crimes being committed in this area, and peace has returned to a place where there are a lot of issues happening right there. I think before this week ends, I need to have Serome and Manu live in the morning here to talk about issues of crime and how they were able to transform this place that was marked to be a very dangerous zone now to be a very safe place. I feel happy that this is coming. And of course, wherever we are broadcasting this from, we're also just distance away from San Siro, which is a very safe place, by the way. I must be able to tell it to the viewer right over there. There are a lot of stories happening on the papers right here, the stories of Archbishop. There's also a story here that the New Vision has learners from Wakiso district showcase their linguistic proficiency in a thrilling spelling bee competitions. I don't know whether you've participated in the spelling bee competition, but there's a story about education that is there on the New Vision papers, yes. And I don't know what other fascinating stories you have from the Daily Monitor, if it captures about that.
Aldo, first of all, when I was growing up, we did not have the privilege of spelling bee, okay? Yeah. But right here, we also do have a story that is popping up about Crane Bank. You know, Crane Bank in 2016, I think, was shut down and sold out to DFCU. However, for some reason, they're in the court, and the article says the judge has actually made a two-sided ruling. So, catch this article on the Daily Monitor. For us who are saving, you need to know.
Something about Crane Bank. I just want the people to know that Crane Bank, as of 2015-16, and even up to around 2021, was the fastest growing bank in Uganda, recognized by the Bank of Uganda. Very many awards, they were taking it home. Then years back, around, I don't know which, was it 2020? Just remind us when the Crane Bank decided to go into issues with the central bank, where they're saying they had to close it, and assets being transferred to DFCU, and DFCU acquired the Crane Bank, and later on Sudir goes to court and says, did you know actually for the first 1 year you've been renting and now these properties are ours? So there's been that issue whereby DFCU shifted to Crane Bank apartments, and now DFCU had to move away. So that issue has been in court, by the way. Issues about the central bank, issues about banking sector, by the way, they're very complex that many people, this money that circulates around you, many people do not know about actually. If we have issues with the banks, the commercial banks, we also have issues with the central bank. This affects our economy directly because the money that we're using is generated from the activities of these two entities, the central bank and the commercial banks, because at some point the commercial bank are the lenders to us. They lend money to public, sometimes also lend money to government, and the central bank regulates them and governs how they're supposed to lend. And they also produce money, by the way, because the interest they charge on it creates value for money in one way or the other. So that is how issues about central bank affects us in one way or the other. That is a big story that I think every Ugandan must be able to rally and read about in the Daily Monitor right over there. Just there's a big sports story in here. Do you know the CHAN tournaments are going on in Uganda? Nambole is fully packed and people are watching, and the whole of many countries are in here. Uganda has a game today that is the opener game, and we would expect everyone to watch this game. If you're within Kampala, if you can't travel for this, it is late in the evening hours, you must be able to. But there's a big story that the New Vision has reported here that CHAN bans, of course, issues of vuvuzela, drums in the stadium. This is an African way of doing football, but CHAN has banned that off. I don't know what this means to you, but there are issues that they have come clearly to see why they've banned that. Issues of noise, yeah.
Aldo, this reminds me of the time, you remember when Arua district took a drastic action to ban moral boosting in football because of the chaos that it brought. But I remember we walked from one district to another to break that rule. But if you ban moral boosting the African way, the vuvuzela, the painting and stuff, I think you're taking away the essence of African football. Because what is Ugandan football, let me say, without noise and someone being taken to the hospital at the end of the day?
So actually the hugest voice, if I were to get the magnitude of voice that the vuvuzelas produce in a stadium, it would be convening against the FIFA rules. So CAF and FIFA work according to certain regulations. That was why this ban came lively in there. But of course, the games are very interesting, by the way, to watch. We did see opener games in here, but of course, Uganda is today facing a very big match that all of you must be able to watch. But very true to this is also that if you've never seen VAR technology being used in any other football, you should actually be at Nambole. The CHAN tournaments are using the VAR technology. Some of you have been calling it the Vagesta because it favors certain Arsenal, certain fans, certain clubs. So if you want to know how they use VAR in a Ugandan setup, you should be able to go to, that is Nambole, and catch the matches live. Nambole has introduced, for the first time, they are using the VAR to make a lot of judgments for these matches happening right there. And also, that is it. Have you ever seen VAR, the video assist referee system? Desire.
First of all, I grew up in a small village right here in town. So no, I have not, but I have seen it on TV.
You could actually get this opportunity now.
I am hoping in that article, we are still allowed to do ululation and clap, right? And because there's no football without that. Otherwise, you can catch these stories and even more on the Daily Monitor, on the New Vision. Grab yourself a coffee. Be informed before you go for that hustle. Be informed. Also, Aldo, we're talking about banking and money. Do you have a savings account?
Oh, yeah, I have a lot of accounts, but there's one account that I normally don't touch anyhow. I have a savings account. I don't know whether some people also, I think I have a lot of.
Dear Ugandans, save money. True. I know we always say if that 40K cannot buy you a house, chop it. Don't chop it or save money. Let's save and invest. I think that is one thing young people are coming into. Saving and investment. I know people, when we say investment nowadays in our generation, it's Bitcoin and stuff. But save and invest.
Do not save a lot also. Keep on healthy, be healthy, eat a lot.
You eat some,
You can take some coffee in the morning hours like this, do a lot of things right over there. But of course, viewer, wherever you're catching us from, this is the Morning Explorer. So, happening right here on the Host TV. Remember, Host TV is now also on the Hisense TV app right over there. If you have a Hisense screen, you just download the Afro Mobile app, on it, and you'll be able to watch Host TV live in your room or anywhere you are without decoder, so long as you have internet connection. Remember, smart TVs have what we call VIDA technology or the Android technology that can allow you to catch up Android apps. And of course, the Afro Mobile app is compatible to that. And on the Afro Mobile app, we have Host TV that you can be able to watch in your desire. Just before we clock into the hour, the top of the hour, where we'll be getting on one legal friend, just we did share with you in the morning hours right here, is the issue surrounding the NRM petitions right over here. And there were rumors circulating, there were videos even circulating that people are saying now that there are going to be elections in Arua City. There are going to be elections in Kapchwara, but they did some of these hearings up. So we want to get a legal perspective on these issues and try to understand how would it be like for someone who understands legal in a better way. And I did promise to you that we're going to contact Odaman Company advocates to see if they can be able to send for us one of the brilliant minds for them. And I can confirm that we'll be having Sami, who will be joining us at the top of the hour. He's a legal friend, he's a legal person who works with the Odaman Company advocates, and these are the people who have been filing the defense for some of the petitions that are currently being heard in Kampala. They are from Kampala, and fresh from there, I want to hear from him on issues surrounding the NRM primaries petitions right here. If you know about the cases of Fatima versus Deborah Ronald, if you know about the cases of Tio William up against that is a FETA, these companies, the Alderman Company advocates have been the ones that actually filing and defending these clients in court, and they have vast experience on that. We would want to get a story. I don't know what you would be able to look at if we have a legal friend. What would be your legal terminology that would wish them to bring it down.
First of all,
Yeah.
if you are not a lawyer in this Uganda,
Yeah.
have a friend who is one. You see, Aldo, in the recent years, where I have had, those conversations in TV when we would watch the news, either Parliament or something, and someone is talking about subpoenas and stuff, and we used to watch, but did we understand those things? But anyway, stay tuned with us, because we want to today discuss the issues of this petition and other political issues surrounding our countries from a legal perspective. We have a constitution that has provisions of what these things mean. And today, we want someone whose shoes and who is actually licensed to talk about this thing, because me and Aldo, we know, but we are not authorized.
No, I was to be a lawyer, by the way. That was my aspirations. I made a very good lawyer, but at some point I felt like law, I needed to leave it for other people.
But
that's why.
You.
No. But if I'm to be a lawyer, I'll take everyone to court, even including Uganda. I'll take Uganda to court.
You sue the country.
I'll sue Uganda, and that will be the very bad part of me. But of course, we'll be having that is Awe Abdul Majid Sami. He's a lawyer by profession with bachelor's degree in law and working with the Oderman Company Advocates. He's also one lawyer who has been having the LDC diploma, because without the LDC diploma, you will not practice law. So he's a practicing lawyer, both at the courts of law and with the firm that is Oderman Company Advocates. Will be joining us later on, but for now, let's cut up some break, and we get to call back and come here with a guest in your desire. Take us for break, and we'll see how it moves on for this very morning.
Should I sing?
You can sing for us as we go for break. If the song is not coming up in a good way, I'll just say to my production too, please get us out of here. Yeah. Try singing and we see.
I'm amazed. Let's go for a break.
Let's get out of here.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mwebe. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284*173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
cut prices. Stream big and save bigger with your TV channels app. Enjoy your favorite shows, movies, comedy, local hits, kids content and sports for just 1,000 shillings daily plus a 4GB data bonus. Better still, for just 2,500 shillings, grab the weekly bundle with 10GB streaming data and a 3-day free trial. Don't wait. Download the OTV channels app now and take control of your entertainment. Pause, rewind, record, play anytime, anywhere. Stream big, save bigger with your TV channels.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a NIN.
You have a name? Do you have a NIN? Do not be like Mueve. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautiful appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant, where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our talented chefs create culinary masterpieces that will leave you craving for more. Unwind and socialize at our vibrant bar and lounge, the perfect spot to enjoy handcrafted cocktails, fine wines, and a wide range of beverages. And let us take care of your every detail, making your time with us truly unforgettable.
Introducing Host TV, your ultimate advertising destination. Get 50% discount offer today. Elevate your brand with Host TV. Available on YOTV, Afro Mobile, and Host Media app. We offer commercial advertising, live event broadcasting, streaming service, social media marketing, publication on dailywestnile.info. We are Host TV. Connect with us on all social media platforms. Host TV, exploring.
They say modern problems deserve smart solutions, so there is no need to line up in queues or go in congested places just to purchase your grocery. Omia Foods gets you fresh, tasty, and nutritious food stuff with no queues, no stress, and no congestion. Get tomatoes, onions, cabbage, milk, dressed chicken, eggs, fruits, and so much more at a market-friendly price with different payment options at the counter. You can pay using cash, Momo, Visa, or FlexiPay, or dial our USSD code *284*173# to have an order delivered to you from our stores. We are located on plot number 6, Staff Lane, Junior Quarters, Arua City.
Right, you're watching Host TV, and this is coming live from a Host of Innovation Village here in Arua. and you could be catching us on the Yo TV, or those who are catching us on Afro Mobile. The good news is that you can now have Host TV live on your Hisense screen, so long as you have Afro Mobile downloaded right over there. And remember, this is the Morning Explorer program that is running live wherever you are. Those who are on Facebook, we also expect you to drop your comments right over there on the number that is running on your WhatsApp, that is 070-2321-169. And Desire and Aldo live in here. And as I did promise to you, we will be getting in the second hour with a very special guest, a lawyer, and of course a legal friend from Onaman Company Advocates, to try and understand more on how these NRM petitions are going on. There have been a lot of stories circulating. People are saying that already they are going to have re-elections in Arua City, yet these processes take a lot of things. Let's have a legal friend to understand this better. Yes, if we can be able to see just from there, we have a new person in here, Desire. I don't know how it would. It's always ladies who can introduce, who can welcome men in our home environment. Yes.
The man is the head of the family, so the man introduces, But with us here, we have a lawyer, and by lawyer I mean a practicing lawyer, someone who not only has the knowledge, but has the, should I say, license to express his legal opinion right with us here in the studio, and he is going to be discussing, as Aldo mentioned, we want to see the petitions that are coming around the country. We want to see it from a legal perspective. What does it mean? What could happen? And what should we expect? And those are the questions that you are going to get the answers to, and more questions that will come from you. Of course, you can drop these in comments on Facebook. You can drop it on our WhatsApp on the number right projecting on your screen right now. This is with us here in the studio. We have Sammy. Sammy is a lawyer. I think, Sammy, I've encountered you at least in court once or twice. No, I was not in the dock. I was. But, I have seen, what you can do. So today we want to hear what you have to say. Because me and Aldo, we have talked about this, but we want it from someone who actually understands. As Aldo has said, their speculations. But first of all, let the people know, who is Sammy?
Yes, good morning. First of all, I want to thank people for hosting me here. It's my first time coming here. By name, I'm called Awe Abdulmajid Shami. I'm a lawyer by profession. I practice with MS Onaman Company Advocates, Plot 2, Avenue Ward. As for the topic of the day, the petitions started last week in Kampala, and they've been going on from Monday till yesterday, till Sunday. So on record, there are over 400 petitions in the just concluded NRM primary elections. And from West Nile and Arua, where people have interest, we have by-elections in Ivo East constituency, Arua City. We have petitions from Ivo West, from Madiokolo, that is Lower Madi and even Upper Madi. We have petitions from Koboko and even Nyumbe. So that is all about the petitions. And I want to put it firm that the petitions are not yet done, because I happen to appear for 3 petitions. 3 petitions, one for Ivo East constituency and one for Arua City. No, Arua Central Division. And I can confirm that they have not yet given a verdict on any ruling, on any petition. Before the tribunal, they made it very clear that they are going to give a ruling after 7 days from the date we appeared. For Arua Central Division, where the rumors are circulating, we appeared on Thursday. We appeared on Thursday last week. So they are going to give a ruling 1 week, 7 days from Thursday. So
let's particularly look at some of these petitions right here. We talk about the one for Arua Central and then the one for Ivo East. Are these also petitions that Onaman Company Advocates is fully represented in them, or those ones that you've picked interest to, and then you also come back to narrow down on the particular one you talked about, that is the Ivo, the one of Arua Central, which has a lot of speculations right there. Yes.
We have to appear for the winner. For the winner of the day, Honorable Atima Jackson, we appeared on his behalf. with MS Alakan Company Advocates. So it was joint instructions to represent him. And then in Ivu East constituency, we appeared for Engineer Tio, William Taylor. We appeared for him. Again, there's Honorable Feta. And again, there's one petitioner who was a voter. She was called Tokoru Susan. She petitioned on her behalf as a voter. And we think we did our best to represent our clients. And I think they'll be victorious at the end of the day. So we shall be waiting for the ruling.
Just if I can look at that camera, there's a voter can also be able to petition an election result right over there. So what does it take? What confidence or how is it treated if a voter petitions just like that? It's a very special case that many people actually don't know that a voter has petitioned this. So how did this come about in these petitions of the NRM? How a voter was able to petition a candidate?
First of all, a voter has a right to petition on his or her own behalf. However, the requirements are totally different from a candidate. For a voter to have that locus means the ability, the right to file that petition. He or she must be a registered voter. Then this is NRM. He must be a member of NRM and a registered member of NRM in the yellow, and his or her name should appear in the NRM yellow book. And he or she should appear as a voter in that particular constituency. So that is the difference. And she must get signatures of 50 voters from the same constituency with the same qualifications. So if you come from Arua Central, you are supposed to be a voter in Arua Central. Your name must appear in the NRM yellow book for Arua Central. And you must get authority from 50 voters from the same constituency. Yes, with the same qualifications. Yes.
Maybe just have a question, then after that I also have an interesting discussion with you to be able to make us understand one or two things. Yes.
Well, this is actually an incredible new knowledge for me. That means that one voter that spoke, that is actually 50 other voices that spoke. And last week we were actually talking about participation of people in this politics, active participation, and I think this is quite an example to look at. But now we have been looking at, rumors that people have brought out of re-election and all that. Now, with these petitions, of course, you say the verdicts will come on later. What are the kind of things we should expect? What should people expect as an outcome of these petitions? Of course, I know each petition could have a different outcome, but there could be a general view of what could happen as a result.
According to my view, I think most of the petitions are going to be dismissed. It is my opinion. They are going to be dismissed based on what I saw. First of all, some people petitioned out of they just want to hold themselves on to, when you're drowning, you want to hold yourself into anything. Some people had genuine petitions, most especially from Eastern Uganda and Western Uganda, as you can see from the different videos on social media and everything that happened, particularly in Sembabule, where there's a lot of chaos. So some petitions were genuine, but most of them were not genuine. People don't want to lose. When you lose, obviously they'll come up with allegations. I was cheated, this one bribed, this one did this. It happens. But we cannot organize elections where there are going to be two winners. Eventually there'll be one winner, and I think most petitions are going to be dismissed, and some candidates are going to be forced to come as independents. It's what I think.
So let's look at what you're just talking right over here on issues of the petitions. Particularly, let's focus on one of the recent which are bringing a lot of Facebook. Maybe there's nothing residual elections are going to be. There's that video that Tango Doi has been speaking in right there. So what does it mean? Like how was the defense like? How was the two representation as Onaman company was in the representation right there? How would you suspect, or what would be the issue that transpired in that petition, those key issues that were in that petition?
To make a comment on the residual elections, before the parliamentary elections, there are some elections that were organized for chairpersons, district chairpersons for NRM. So some districts didn't have that. It was not conducted, like in Lira. The elections were not conducted. So, and even electoral colleges voting direct members. Yeah, Youth League and what? Those ones for NRM. So they are conducted, and that is what is meant by residual elections.
So meaning actually that clip that was circulating with the voicing of Tango Doi was not meaning the primary elections, but meaning the residual elections whereby we'll be able to elect the chairperson of NRM, we'll be able to elect the youth leaders. I just wanted you to first repeat and make that clear to people, because that has been circulating before even we could hear the verdict of these petitions that many people are saying these elections are going to be redone in Arua. I just wanted, if you can put that clearly to the viewer out there, and we get this clarity clear. That is what we are as Host TV to always bring you credible information from the people who are in the process. Yes.
It's hard to make it very clear that NRM elections, primary elections, they are not going to repeat them as of now. That verdict has not been made. There are no fresh elections as of now until the verdict on the petitions is given by the tribunal. And the verdict is not yet given. And the elections that are going to be conducted, I think they are conducted already. It is for electoral colleges, youth leaders and chairpersons and different positions that were announced, but not for MPs. Yes.
Then, okay, away from the issues of petition desire, maybe if you have a question, I'll also be able to allow you to push on that. We also want to understand the issues around legal and trying to understand how Odaman Company Advocates is trying to do a lot of community. There are issues whereby communities come and say that whenever we want to go to the court of law, we have issues with this and that. So how does it mean for someone to get a lawyer? Does it mean the poor cannot get a lawyer services of a legal person like you? Or in terms of the community awareness, what are you doing as Odaman Company Advocates? Because some of the ignorance where people are saying they're going to be first election, they don't understand the process of litigation, maybe, I don't know, arbitration, all these other things. We want to get it from you now as a legal person. What does it mean for someone to get legal representation in court? Yes.
First of all, Odaman Company Advocates, it's a law firm. It's a law firm. It's a private law firm. So, you know what it means to be a private law firm. It's like a private school. So you expect monies to be paid so that you can get our services. However, this shot, you can see it. It is for Uganda Law Society. Annually, we are supposed to give pro bono. Pro bono means you're giving free legal services to people. It's a must to give it. So there are some, in a year, you are supposed to handle like 3 to 4 files free of charge to people who cannot afford legal fees. And actually, it is even illegal for us to practice for free. Yes, it is illegal to practice for free. Otherwise, the trade will not be there. If you want, but there are some organizations that provide free legal services for legal aid. It is legal aid. It is a branch of Uganda Law Society. Well, last week, but one, we had the pro bono week. It is this one, the shot you can see here. It was a free week. It was a week whereby you go to prisons, you give free legal advice to inmates. You go to markets, you give free legal advice. Even sometimes radios will come and appear without paying us. You give free legal services to people, community awareness. However, for someone to have a lawyer, it is very important to have a lawyer. Just like yourself, it is important to have a journalist, it's important to have a doctor and accountant. People don't understand that. People think we go to court to argue. No. That's not the case. Actually, we spend little time arguing because there are some things that are very clear. You just have to put your point that this is what the law says and this is it. You don't go there. It's not like a village. It's not like a village court whereby you just go and say things as you wish. That's the reason why we spent 5 years in school. We just don't go to court to argue. But it's important to have a lawyer in almost all aspects of life. Whether marriage, the law is needed. Whether it is friendship, it is needed. Whether you want to establish this business here of this studio, the owners, the law is needed. You always need a lawyer in your life. Yes, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, from the experience I have, those who have not considered using lawyers have come to us when the things have gone bad. That's why they come to lawyers to correct what the mistake they had made.
Now, of course, they say law is a noble, a noble field. It's not like, with law, it's not like an entrepreneur. But now, you're talking about having lawyers in your life. Now, the Ugandan story, unfortunately, in most cases, most people go to get in contact with the law or to understand the law when they're either in the dock testifying or something bad has happened to them. And that is a culture we have in Uganda. Most people will not see a courtroom until they're in trouble. They will not contact a lawyer until they're in trouble. They do not have that like establishing a business to say, okay, I need a lawyer to come see through these papers. They sign anything. Now, and you're saying that we do have pro bono services and all that, but the greatest cost of our justice system, to me, has always been ignorance. It has cost us a lot. That many people actually don't know that I can get pro bono services. Many people don't know that if I'm to start this, I need a lawyer, I need this or that. Even when they go to court, starting right from police, there are people who don't even know their basic right, even under detention. And that is one thing that has cost us more than money when it comes to our justice system. Someone is detained for 2 weeks in police, and they leave the system not even knowing that their rights was abused. So what can you tell Ugandans? What do we need to change? Because I know there's that mindset change that we need when it comes to these areas of understanding the law. You don't only have to be a criminal in the dock to be exposed to the law.
Exactly. And actually, many innocent people have suffered because of ignorance. You find someone, for example, I do something maybe, I'm taken to police, I spend 2 weeks. Yet the law says I'm supposed to be there for 48 days. Now if you arrest me on Friday and you don't take me to court, obviously you have to give me a bond. Otherwise the 48 hours will be done by Sunday. So I have to be out. So these are just basic things. And Ugandans don't want to give enough time to some few things. Ignorance is a very big problem. You find someone is going to buy land of 100 million and he wants the LC to draft the agreement for him. It's because they think the lawyer is going to charge a lot of money, but at the end they are going to find that land they are buying is for a family, it is for a spouse. Do you know that if she's my wife, I cannot sell land that I bought with my own money without her consent? People don't know that. Yes. Yes.
Okay, just
that is the bitter aspect of the law. Yes.
As the discussion is getting very interesting, we also want to get your point of view on these ideas that have been shared by our legal friend, that is our lawyer Sammy from Odaman Company Advocates. We want to take a very short commercial break, and of course, just trying to see that we do a lot of charity through this break, the charity break. And when we come back, we now want to touch a bit what he has just started touching in here, the issue around land rights and issues on how family property and how even if you're selling your phone, so every other thing that we need to know around these issues of rights, legal, and point of view. Let's cross on to do some charity break, and when we come back, we'll be digging down and trying to uncover what does it mean for someone to be legal and what does it mean for something to be illegal. This will be coming. Just let's take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll delve much into this discussion.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a name.
You have a name? Do you have a name? Do not be like Mwebe. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize your taste buds. From gourmet delicacies to local favorites, our
Welcome back from that charity break. This is still the Morning Explorer, and we are having an interesting discourse in the room, and be sure to be part of that. You can be following us right now live on Facebook, so be sure to drop your comments, and right on your screen you can see a number projecting. You can access us on WhatsApp and drop your comments, your questions. With us here on the Morning Explorer, of course, your daily dose of education for the day. And with us in the studio, as earlier, we still have Shami in the room with us. And he has really mentioned quite an interesting thing. Actually, while we were on break, he has really educated us. I think Aldo and I are a few inches more qualified now in the legal ground. But, we have raised questions here in the studio today. First of all, do you have a lawyer or at least a friend who is one? Do you know what it takes for you to establish an enterprise? Do you know your rights when you're purchasing land? Do you know what documents you need? So these are all questions that we need to answer today in the room because, Shami, in case you don't know, Uganda is growing. People are buying land. People are building. Women are owning properties. They are CEOs. And we even have children owning properties. But now, do we know the rights we have? Do we know the estate rights? Do you know what you should possess as a landowner? Even that, as he mentioned earlier, that letter your LC is drafting for you. Do you even know the right words to use? So these are things that we want to hear more from Shami. Please be part of this conversation. Drop your comments on Facebook. Drop your comments on WhatsApp, your questions. The number is projecting right on your screen, and we will be right there to hear out from you. We want to hear your voice on this. We want to hear your questions. The number projecting on your screen, we have, it's 0702321169. That's our WhatsApp number, and we are right online. You can contact us. You can send us your messages right on that number, and we'll be able to air your voice live on the studio. Yes, Aldo, before we go to Shami, I want to go back to you. Aldo is a landowner. Odogu, Aldo, do you know your rights as a landowner?
I was very surprised that during our break, Sammy mentioned something very, very fascinating around issues around the land. Maybe let's fast forward to listen to Sammy and understand from the legal perspective what it means that LC1 letter that now everyone has kept it as one of the safest documents, that this is actually the deed, my land is maybe the land title I have here. So, Sammy, there's that mindset people have. So, the issues around land, let's first get the legal view as a legal person on that before we get to read also some of the comments coming through here. Yeah.
Land, I think land is one of the most precious things someone can own in life, and I think it is the must for most, especially for everyone. It used to be for men, but now even ladies. You should not die without owning a piece of land, whether through inheritance, whether by buying it, but by all means you should own it. So the way you acquire it, you should take much interest in it, because land appreciates. You might be there that, but the land is 1 million. I cannot waste my 200,000 to give to a lawyer to draft me that agreement. But after 5 years, the land is going to cost 15 million. I'm telling you this. So you have to be more careful. The LC letters, the LC agreements, they are good agreements. But the LCs, as I said it, you cannot become a lawyer by experience. It is not there. So you have to do the right thing. First of all, that agreement, the LC agreement is just like an agreement. Then you can use it to process a title. the EMSO offices are there, you go and process a title. You will still need a lawyer to process for you that title. Or if you don't want, maybe you can go there directly. They can process for you a title. But bottom line of the matter is, when you're dealing in land, when most especially for buyers, you have to use a lawyer because due diligence is usually done by lawyers. If it is registered land, a lawyer knows where to go first, without even coming to the seller. I know where I'll go and make my search as a lawyer. I'll come to LC and consult. I'll come to neighbors, even without the seller's knowledge. And then I make my consultations. Then after there, I know who to put in the agreement. It is not like me waking up and saying, Desire, I'm selling my land to you. Let us sign here. The LC will sign, Desire sold her land to Sami. Sign period. You might buy air because land has a lot of rights in it. There's, for example, in Central Region, there are some lands that belong to the kingdom. You see? But there are squatters staying there. So you're going to buy that land from that squatter thinking that you have bought. You see? Now, there's that land whereby it is family land, is what is called family land, and it has categories. I can inherit land from my father, but I have my siblings. You see? I have my siblings. I even have letters of administration. Have I got the consent from the other people? A lay person will not tell you this. I can be married. I cannot sell my own land without my spouse's consent. I cannot get a loan using the title I have at home without my wife's
now
consent. That is
looking at land, I love the perspective you brought in, because most times when you see land issues, it actually surrounds this. Okay, there is inherited land has become somewhat a problem, and there's a lot of issues of violence when it comes to issues of land with inheritance. Me and Aldo, we are siblings. Our father left us a portion of land. Then Aldo keeps selling and selling and selling. Now, as the daughter, we now have fights, and it actually becomes a serious case. Oh, a husband and wife, we purchased land together, and now as the husband, because you're the man, you think you have the right to what happens with that land. So let the people know, because most of these issues we have actually ignorance. For Aldo to know that this land, because we are 7 children, even if it's 1 acre, there is some sort of ownership we have there. So give us more, elaborate on that.
If it is inherited land, let me say customary or inherited land, you don't have the right to sell that property unless it is apportioned. That this is the land, everyone is taking 20 by 20. You only, because first of all, when someone dies, you get letters of administration for that property. You cannot deal in that estate without letters of administration. However, there are different case laws that have come up stating that a beneficiary can sell land without letters of administration. However, her interest, her share in that land is specific. You see, her interest is specific, but that will bring more confusion. We have there's also the problem of our cultures are still there, thinking that some ladies cannot inherit land. I'm a Muslim. There are some people who say that there are those ones who say that if you're born out of wedlock, you're not entitled to. Then there are those ones who say the husband, you buy land together. I should also emphasize this, that even if the spouse has not contributed a shilling. Yes. Even if a spouse, whether husband or wife,
it's our land.
Might be a woman thinking that you have bought your land, that the land belongs entirely to you. When you tell me about it, because family land, the aspect of you telling me that you bought a land, maybe you go and plant some things there, or you put some rentals, and that money that comes from that rental, you can eat food from it at home here. It becomes my land too. So when you want to deal with it, you have to.
It's our land.
It is our land. So people have to know it. So our culture, I think culture is still there. That's why you see that when a woman gets married, her rights, where she is coming from, now she has far gone. Now she doesn't have any rights where she comes from. That is one of the challenges there.
Just a very interesting discussion that actually that land you bought, even when you are still that lady there, she has already full control over it.
She has a right over it. She has a right there.
And of course, I'm repeating that again. The letter of administration, Does it mean if the family member has a letter of administration, he owns the land and can now sell it anyhow he wants, and even keeps on hiding that document from other members? So let's look at that kind of, how powerful is the letter of administration? How are the influence and the ideas of other members of the family on the letter of administration, and how does it stand? Because many times the person who has this doesn't expose this to other members.
Who actually gets that
Who
letter?
gets that letter? Yes, sir.
A beneficiary to that estate. For example, our parent dies, we leave to a father. We can choose maybe Sammy to become the administrator. But you're an administrator. The role of an administrator is more like of a trustee. You own that land on behalf of the rest. So when you want to do anything with that land, or that properties can be a car, you do that thing in the interest of the others. You have to seek their consent. You have to seek their consent. So being hold of letter of administration does not make you, okay, by law you are the owner of that place, but you own it on behalf of the rest. So you cannot sell that land without these people's consent. Yes.
Now, Shami, there's a loophole that I've seen our people have really managed to exploit very well. A parent has a lot of property, and somehow this parent dies, and then children, he has children, others outside that particular marriage, and all these children, and then someone sometimes appoints themselves to be, I'm the one going to be in charge, either because he's maybe the only male or the oldest or the one who is more educated or something. Yeah. So he takes charge of this property, and then you find other people are kind of left out. He can even I've seen example where someone took all the land, okay? He has built on it, the siblings are there. Anytime a sibling shows up, it's a fight, ends up in police, but it has never really been resolved. And I know, of course, as parents, I don't know how to ask this question. How can we put a structure, okay? Now, there's that legal safeguarding that we need to make sure that these things don't happen. Now, as the property owner who has inheritance to leave, and then those who are left behind, what measures can be taken to help?
First of all, the law has been amended. You cannot hold letters of administration for more than 2 years. It now expires. So you acquire a letter of administration this year. I think by 2027, 2028, it expires. And then within the 2 years, you have to file, I've forgotten the legal term. You have to dispute that property. Because when you're going to acquire letters of administration, you state all the properties that are there. That our father left a car. Our father left 50 million in the bank. Our father left 3 plots of land differently. It becomes estate property. Now that is what is called the estate. And you are supposed to list all the beneficiaries. And all the beneficiaries have an equal share. Whether a lady, whether a baby, whether old, whether he's 70 years and the youngest is 10 years, they have the same share. Now, you are supposed to file, I had forgotten it is called an inventory. An inventory means that, yes, you got 50 million. What did you do with it? You are supposed to file that in court that granted you the letters of administration. So you say that 50 million, you used it for maintenance. Because even there's a way it is apportioned by law. 20% of the entire estate, 20%, let me say it is 10 million. 2 million, it is according to percentages. 20% goes to maintenance. Maintenance includes food, education, 20% of it. So when my father dies, when I'm still in school, I have to remain in school, but it will be the 20%. From 20%.
I just want this discussion very interesting. There are many times after the death of maybe a father or maybe the man, the uncles quickly rush and they decide to push away this woman from being part of the administrators. Can a woman be an estate manager, or can the woman be listed as the administrator of an estate of a deceased parent, or it is definitely has to be the children? Because many times I've seen there are very many cases in and around, even all over the world, whereby, most especially in Uganda, women, widows, are disputing properties that they legally, like in a legal marriage, someone is wedded, they have certificates, and then at the end of it all, after the death, the in-laws, the uncles come and take away this property. So what does this stand for the women?
It takes us back to her point, the ignorance. The women, majority of them don't know their rights. You get? If the rightful person to manage the estate, of a spouse, a fellow spouse, I've died, my wife is there, my wife has died, I'm around, is supposed to be the spouse, is supposed to be the surviving spouse. Because even she doesn't even need letters of objection, no objection from Attorney General's chambers, Administrator General's chambers. She just applies as a spouse. She says that she's a spouse, and then she applies, and then if there are some inconsistencies, for example, the man was polygamous, or the man has some other children, just for fairness, they can add other people. There is no relative who has a right to chase a woman from her home. Actually, yes, there is no relative who has that right to chase away a spouse. You just have to report that it is even a case, and the maximum sentence is 7 years. So if someone tries, if your maybe your brother-in-law, or even sometimes even the stepchildren. For example, you're the second wife, the first wife has children who are almost at the same age with you. They come and chase you away. That is intermeddling. Yes, you just report and then you prosecute that person for 7 years. You'll be in prison. So you don't have that right. A woman can own property. A woman can apply as an administratrix. She can become an administratrix of an estate. Even a girl can become one, but it is usually the family to decide. The family by law is the spouse, the children who come first. Then the father, mother, then other people will come afterwards.
Now,
yes,
there's of course, when we're talking about property and deceased parents or spouses, that brings us to the question of the will. Personally, I really want to understand, where does the will come in this picture? And that document, what is its value? Like, people have to understand what that document means and why it even exists.
Now, that will, for me, I'm a Muslim. The Prophet said that you should not sleep without writing a will. Even if you have a phone, maybe before I sleep, I say, I have this phone, maybe I'll give it to Aldo when I die. It solves a lot of problems. A lot of problems. In a will, you include your properties, you include your beneficiaries, you include even some children who are not known. Then in a will, there are some people you pay for when your family does not know that person. For example, I'm paying for some child somewhere, the family doesn't know. Try to include that person in the will. Then there are some, for example, maybe there's a friend who was so close to me. Then you put it in the will that I want that friend to be helped. You see? So a will is entirely a document that is a document that, just the way will is a document that shows what this person wanted to happen to him, or what will happen when he is dead. How the estate he has, the properties he has, how they will be distributed, his hair, where he will be buried, maybe other children not know. That is it. But it solves a lot of problems.
Just a very brief comment here coming on our Facebook, on WhatsApp. It is coming in from Asiku Fred. Thanks for this one. Asiku Fred catching you up live from Lamo. He's basically asking about where they can be able to find out how the man company advocates and what other services you people offer in there, just all the way from Lamo. Thank you very much. Those who are also watching, you can be able to drop your comment on the WhatsApp number that is reading on your screen, that is 070-2321-169. Just on that, where can someone like Asiku Alfred, who is following all the way from that is Lamo, be able to get? Maybe do you have branches in other places, or in Kampala, in other big cities, something like that? Yes.
We have only two offices. You have three offices. The main office is in Arua. It is plot 2 Avenue Road, Chakala building. It is just opposite Centenary. That is the main building. Then the second one in Kampala is it is a liaison office. It is in Bata Chambers, Parliamentary Avenue, just near IGG's office. Then the other one is in Ajumari. Yes, but you can contact people who are around.
Now, just still on that same train of thought of the will, I think it would be important for people to know when should you get this document, and also what is the right way of doing it, because I understand, when we're talking about a will, we're talking about a lawyer, and where there's a lawyer, there is the law. So what is the right procedure to say that this will be a legal document that will speak my mind even when after I'm gone? And how can someone do that? Because Aldo, I don't know about you, but I know of so many Ugandans who do not even understand why they should get a will. And a lot of chaos happens with their property. You find even the family does not benefit at all from their property. It is the vultures come in and take. So as a man who owns property, who has a family, or as a woman who is heading a family, what should they know? How can I start on this? When do I need to even start?
As I said, people should not wait for maybe when I become rich, I'll have a will, no? Or when I'm very sick, maybe that's when I'll, because you don't know what will happen. I can just get up from here, then go to the road, I'm knocked, I'm dead, you get. So you have to write a will anytime. But there's what qualifies a document to be called a will. First of all, one, you're supposed to have the person writing the will. There's supposed to be two adults. If it is men, it is two. Ladies, it is three. Differently, will to sign on that thing, on the document, and the qualifications you have to sign on different pages. The same people sign them on different pages at different intervals. Then in the will, you have to put what belongs to you. You have to put what belongs to you, and you have to include the beneficiaries. Who is supposed to appear by will. Basically, that is it. But
how about these other wills you normally hear during funerals that are not documented, like the way you say? I normally see people just reading that the late had a will, and this is the will, and they start reading it like that without all the signatures. It's a random elder who reads that, not a legal person during the funeral. That is scenarios that we see around will. So does that also qualify to be a will, or we should think otherwise?
A will is a written document. That is it. A will is a written document.
What if they whispered it when the guy was about to die, and he decided to whisper it to one of the uncles who were just close to the bed there, and the family believes the uncle says, "You come and tell the mourners what our brother whispered to you when this hospital bill." Most times, this has been bringing a lot of confusion in families. So, legally, what advice would you give to those kind of wills?
Maybe there are two types of wills. There are these wills. Not everyone qualifies to have. There's that will. It is usually written by soldiers in active service. For example, you're in war, you're in Congo, you tell your friend. That one qualifies to be a will. And it is an exception. Otherwise, a will is a written document. A will is a written document. You have to sign. It has to be written. Like you see, or whether you type it and then sign physically. Or you write everything by paper. That is a will. So whether someone whispered, how will I verify? How will I verify that Sam is not my son? You think a beneficiary will accept that?
Yeah.
And that's how wills are challenged in court. When you see, for example, me as a lawyer, when I see my client is not benefiting, I'll challenge that will.
Maybe just this we're really time, but we just have some 3 minutes to be out of the studios. There have been a lot of issues concerning the issues around defilement cases, whereby sometimes even in the courts of law, the court disputes the findings of the findings of the doctors who carried out these examinations of the minor who was defiled, and then they end up saying that the rich people are always released out of court. And what takes it for a court to disqualify even a medical examination that at a regional referral hospital that this examination was not done by an authentic person, yet the government is the one who is employing these people. And most of these defilement cases, rape cases, have been sent out of court why does such thing happen? What should public get to know about such cases? It has brought a lot of confusion.
The justice system, there's a proverb, it's a saying by a scholar that you'd rather free 99 guilty people than imprisoning one innocent person. Okay. Now, what does it mean? For example, this defilement and rape, those are two things. Defilement means that you're having sex with someone who's not of age, who's not 18 years. Yeah. Rape means that you're having sex with someone without her consent. So the consent can be acquired by force, maybe. You overpower her. 2, you confuse her. That maybe I'm a witch doctor, I want to treat some ladies, don't give birth. Some people say maybe I'll put the medicine on my manhood, and then if I sleep with you, you get. It is consent by through confusion. Others say I'll kill you, or I'll kill your daughter that is in Kampala if you don't accept to have sex with me here. So that is rape. Now, it takes us to medical evidence. What shows that I raped someone, or this accused person raped this person? The evidence that is usually strong, there are 2 types of evidence. There's circumstantial evidence. Then circumstantial evidence means that maybe I was with Desire in that room. It means that I was there. But if I was there, does it mean that I raped her? Then the medical evidence will come. Or maybe someone raped her, but she didn't know the person, but she says maybe the person looked like Sammy, he was putting on white. You see? But am I the only person who puts on white? That is another question. Now, medical evidence, what is needed in rape and defilement cases is that usually when a man has sex, you have to release something. Now, that thing fluids that you release has DNA. Now, it comes, you as a defense lawyer, what you're supposed to prove in court is that, first of all, the person who came up with that document, the medical form, you have to look at him. You ask him one simple question. What is your name? Are you qualified as a doctor? He says yes. Do you have your license? Now, if you find out that he doesn't have, it is a nurse. It is a nurse who carried out the examination. Then how can you believe in such?
So, Sammy, let's get on this camera.
So that is it.
I want this question to come clearly.
Yes.
There are some hospitals, government hospitals, that do not have doctors per se. And there are some clinical officers who are acting as in charge of these hospitals. And they normally do some of these tests themselves. And most of these defilement cases happen in rural areas where there is no maybe a doctor with bachelor's. Even sometimes there are doctors with bachelor's whose medical examinations have been disqualified at the courts of law when in cases of defilement and rape for that case. So, is it a problem of government, or should the court release that person, or the court can just say maybe take the government back to the dock now? Because there's a lot of confusion around cases of GBV. We find if we have over 1,000 cases reported, but if we go as media to report these cases again, those ones that actually qualify and go up to the process of final judgment are very few. So I just wanted, in that case, a health center 3 or a health center 4 that has no substantial doctor, but the government has employed a clinical officer who is now one in charge. Let's have this.
No, I think clinical officers, they are qualified, but I'll just give you an example.
Okay.
You see, I was giving an example. I was giving an example whereby the person who carried out the examination was not qualified to do that. That is the first thing. 2, if I rape her today, and then she goes to the hospital 3 days later, there's what is called chain of evidence. Because if I release fluids in her today, then there are some people who make mistakes. They are raped today instead of going to the hospital. And police, they take the underwears, maybe the clothes you had, they go home, they bathe. They go home, they bathe even to watch film. So the chain of evidence is not there. Now you cannot be a judge or a judicial officer. You come and convict someone basing on that medical examination, whereby even the underwears were washed, she even showered. There's nothing that links the accused person.
We are really time for the discussion is quite interesting. I think this already gives us a room to get Sammy and the legal people here very often on certain issues that will affect us in one way or the other. I think we are going to be friends to Ola Mantako and Advocate and friends to Sammy to see that they always come here in studio to talk some of these issues. I must be able to say with the comments we are getting in here, there is a lot that is happening in our community. Just in 1 minute, I want you to summarize this discussion and get what are those very things that you feel before we move out of studios. Just in 1 minute that the viewer has to take on as a desire is already warning us. We need to move out of here.
We summarize what we have talked about today. Today we talked about the petitions. I want to assure every viewer here that in Arua there are no elections that are taking place until the verdicts are given in the petitions. That is the first thing. Two, we talked about land rights. Basic land rights, though we did not exhaust them. We always at least have, even if you cannot afford it, there are these places that can afford lawyers. Or you even have some, we have challenges whereby we are the lawyers in the family, and even amongst our friends, but they go and do things without us knowing. They come to us when everything is failed. So you should know your rights. You have a phone, you have Google, you can just, land rights in Uganda, you read through them. It does not take a lot of time. Then we talked about family rights, most especially the women and even maybe the children. You have the same rights as the men have. That is it. Okay. Yes.
Whew. If you're sitting where I'm sitting right now, it is hot in here, but in the best way possible. Anyway, Aldo, I am starting a challenge. Okay? You can do this challenge, whatever you're on TikTok, whatever, but this is the challenge. This week, go and know at least 5 things about the law. 5 things. Your rights, your responsibility. Challenge yourself. This week, before Friday, let's inform ourselves. Know your right when it comes to land. Go and add to this knowledge. We are now, this week, we're in a legal school. Go and know your rights. And once you find what your rights are, educate at least 2 people about it. Because as Ugandans, this is one thing that has killed us, ignorance. It's not that there is no law. There is law to protect you as a woman, as a child, as a father, as a mother. Go and know it. And once you know it, teach the next person, pass the knowledge on. That is how we beat the system. Hallelujah. Otherwise, thank you for being with us today. It's been a wonderful discussion. I will catch you tomorrow.
Ever imagined if you woke up one day and you are invisible? That's how you would look to the government if you were a citizen but you don't have a name.
You have a name? Do you have a name? Do not be like Mweve. Visit a NIRA registration center near you to get a NIN or renew your national ID today.
Welcome to Dreamland Hotel, where luxury meets convenience. Experience the perfect blend of comfort and sophistication at our premier hotel. Step into your home away from home, where elegance and comfort converge. Our spacious and beautifully appointed rooms and suites are designed to meet your every need. Relax and unwind in our tranquil accommodations, complete with all amenities to ensure a restful and rejuvenating stay. Hosting a business event? Look no further. Our hotel offers cutting-edge conference facilities that are sure to impress your guests. From intimate board meetings to large-scale conferences, our versatile spaces and professional staff will ensure your event is a resounding success. Dive into a world of relaxation and bliss at our magnificent swimming pool. Bask in the warm sunshine as you lounge by the water or take a refreshing dip. Our poolside oasis offers the perfect escape where you can unwind and soak up the serene atmosphere. Embark on a culinary journey at our exquisite restaurant where flavors from around the world come together to tantalize